Story?
Yes!
Well, any wrestling fans in attendance will get the reference. All
I get it.
three of you?
Yeah.
Right, all one of you then.
Thank you.
Right, go on. Yeah, he gets it. I've got a brand new poem, absolutely nothing to do with wrestling. I wrote this on the way in this morning in response to a news item relating to Putin heard this morning over breakfast. It's about the Russian military recruiting volunteers.
Thank you very much. I'm originally half Ukrainian. Thank you very much.
Right, you're welcome. You're welcome. This is about the Russian military reportedly recruiting volunteers in the streets, handing them guns and getting volunteers to head to the front line, ordinary people. And I've actually called this poem Volunteers, and this is about the insidious and often futile nature of war. This is for you. Troops walk the well-trodden streets, bearing live, locked and loaded arms, looking for ordinary men and women to add to their encroaching number. The battled, wearied colonel watches and sees a man who used to be him. An ordinary man with an ordinary life, before passing him an M16. He takes the gun in both hands with an air of nervous reluctance, sees the gleeful acceptance of arms all around him, outnumbering the nervous faces that mirror his, triumphantly raising his gun in the air to a chorus of approval on both sides, galvanizing the smattering of tentative stragglers into aping his response like sheep, following a shaky lead that was never even his, born in the spur of the moment, fathered by duress. 9 months later, this ordinary man, flanked by those who followed him that day, finds himself across the border, deep behind enemy lines. He opens fire into the distance. No sound follows, but a thud. Upon looking up, he can see a man who used to be him. Just following orders, he tells himself, as a miscreant tear approaches. At the sight of the man's bullet-pierced apron, an unarmed grocer just surveying the wreckage, just following orders like he did in his old life, putting smiles on faces far and wide. He was the town's best short-order cook. Now he mourns the murder of an innocent man, a man who died by his hand, and only the blood of a true instigator will hold back the well of static tears. God bless. Last time I was here, I read out some extracts from the novel which I'm working on, and I've retooled a couple more of them as pieces of flash fictions / poetry, which I've called A Vegas Story. This one is called A Vegas Story 2. Demons fall from the grace of the wicked. Angels gravitate towards the refuge of villainy. Good and evil sit side by side like chiral viscous droplets in a petri dish, longing to collide and form something else entirely, which is both, yet neither, but exists as one. Following on from A Vegas Story 2, we have inevitably A Vegas Story 3. I find myself alone and bathing in the aftermath of euphoria during the burgeoning hours of Sunday morning, a time when everywhere else, anywhere else, the wheel stops, allowing the spokes some much needed time to repair and reflect. But here the gears turn harder than ever. The bright lights of casinos pierce the still noir with a lullaby of decadence and debauchery. Now, back in October, my wife Josie and I had an incredible, and I do mean incredible in every sense of the word, holiday in my paternal homeland of Barbados. It was just absolutely fantastic and inspired me to write this little haiku about some of the amazing sights out there. So this is called, rather unimaginatively, Barbados. Azure of the deep, clear as a looking glass, cradling the sun beneath.
Nice.
I just wanted to say, Hannah, as that first poem in particular you did about victim blaming and what have you, women going missing and being assaulted, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely loved it. This is something that follows along similar lines. Those of you who were here last month will have heard this. And for those of you who were not here, I'm going to perform this whether you were here or not. So if you don't fancy hearing it again, tough, but in all seriousness, who is familiar with MMIW? Right, MMIW stands for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, or Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women. Just to put some of the words I'm about to read in context, it's said that every year about 6,000 Indigenous women in North America go missing. Only 300 of those cases are followed through by the police, and only 15 of those receive any subsequent media coverage. Now, two things were the catalyst for this poem. I remember when I was in Arizona in 2014, at the Grand Canyon gift shop, I met a Native American girl called Brianna, and I thought of her the next year when there was a news item about women being assaulted on their reservations and there being no consequences for their non-Indigenous assailant because of jurisdictional issues. And this issue came back into my mind watching the new season of Dexter New Blood. There was a storyline which revolved around missing, murdered Indigenous women. And for those of you who haven't seen the new series of Dexter, two things. A, it's fantastic. B, spoiler alert, Dexter kills some people. Yeah, shock horror, I know, I thought it was going to be a sitcom about this guy running a fish and game store, nobody gets killed, but there we go. Anyway, this is called Brianna. It's named after the young woman I met in Arizona. I am not your cause célèbre du jour, nor the anachronistic sombre hashtag between the gaudy glitz and glamour of your vainglorious digital life kernels. I was a daughter, sister, aunt, and friend, a youthful mass of burgeoning dreams, the ceiling shadow cast by the empty chair, now a mausoleum of a life less lived. I am one of the 6,000, but not of the 300, and not of the 15, who briefly sojourn in the fickle lexicon. I was the runaway who would come back, but never did. My case never opened, my story never told. I long to be a staple in your everyday language, so the spirit of my sisters can live long beyond their suffering. Thank you very much. You've all been wonderful.